So the Peace Alliance holds the intention in our gatherings to create a space that is welcome to all for listening, learning, open conversation, and engagement. To that end, we ask that everyone be real, engaged, and curious. Be fully present to listen.
And create a space for learning. Honor all points of view. Acknowledge discomfort and allow room for healing. We will do our best to address microaggressions and marginalizing language. To that end, we ask that everyone act with empathy, compassion, and a desire for connection.
We thank you for being here with us and participating in this way.
If you all could give us a thumbs up if you're in agreement with our community agreement. A thumbs down if you're not, and a if you're not so sure. Did the thumbs up have it?
So if anything comes out today that you feel violates these community agreements, that somehow causes you uncomfortability, I want you to know that we are open to hearing about it. We want to be a welcoming international community. And you can email me at truestorytelling@gmail.com. You can put something in the chat. You can raise your hand, or however you want to do it here. And we will stop and we will listen.
I'm really happy. I'm in Washington, D.C. right now, so I'm really happy to be on the call. And I've known Cynthia, I don't know how long, for a long, long time. We work closely together, and I get lots of calls from her, and she's always has amazing ideas. And the community in San Diego is so active, and her heart is so tied with the children. She's always talking about how it's all about building peace for the children, and she works really closely with the whole community in San Diego, and boy, there's not much they haven't done. So, and we're taking to Washington, D.C. We're going on Capitol Hill Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I'm taking a packet of letters, hundreds of letters that the students have written from San Diego about how important peace is to them.
My name is Cynthia, and I want to start with Mrs. Sue. Love you, Miss Sue. I actually started the peace building with Miss Sue and Brian at the Malcolm X Library. They came into the neighborhood of the 4th District, and at the Malcolm X Library, and I'm just gonna tell the truth, and I always tell a story. Miss Sue and Brian came into the library, and they were there in the library, and they set up their equipment and everything for Department of Peace Building. So I'm very curious. I went and I asked, what is this? And they went on to tell me what it was about. And my thing was, why are these white people coming to my neighborhood? And I'm just being for real, in Southeast San Diego, and they're gonna come and they're gonna leave. And at that particular time, Miss Brian and Miss Sue said to me, we're not leaving. And so the connection was right there. It was something about Miss Sue and Brian that struck me, that it was like, I'm not just coming here to get what I need from people of color or the children here in this neighborhood. I'm coming here because I want to do this. So we started on from there. And then after that, we kind of like lost contact, but we didn't. And we went to go to Washington, D.C., and it was with Kids for Peace. And Miss Sue knew Miss Jill. They got together And they began to talk about Cynthia and this group of kids. And so after that, that's where it came to where Jill with Kids for Peace said, I will pay for 5 kids to go to Washington, D.C. And by that, at this particular time, I'm going, for real, you know, you're gonna, again, I'm like, you're gonna pay for these little Black kids for us to get on the bus, all expenses paid, and go to DC. Well, what little did I know, between Miss Sue, Miss Bryant, Miss Jill, their heart was really in it for real. It wasn't like, I'm just coming into a neighborhood to see what I can get out of the neighborhood. And it really began to I began to see white people different, as far as coming into Southeast San Diego, to where we're not just coming here to get what we need and then leave. Because normally within a neighborhood like that, that's what it is. I give you this, you give me this, or I give you something, you give me something. But Miss Sue was actually, between her and Brian, they were actually a group that really loved what they were doing. They had no colors. They did not look at the children or the staff or the community as being underperformers, low incomers. And this is coming truly from my heart. They looked at those children and myself as people. So we began to talk, and they began to ask me, what really do I want? And the thing that I really want is for all of us to be as one, to come together, to love each other. And over the years, we did a postcard campaign. Miss Sue made sure that the letters got into the President of the United States. She walked them in there. We did a letter writing campaign. Miss Sue and Brian was our world, you know. They have had a chance to meet our pastor, Bishop McKinney. We got involved with the San Diego Unified School District, the police department. I began to talk to the kids. I began to get the 5 kids in the school district and 5 kids, which is Miss Anderson's children, together. And we began to build a bridge. And that's what it's all about. Peace is about what's in your heart, and it starts within me. And that's why I play that song, I'm gonna stand up and take my people with me. And I don't only mean Black people, I mean my people, period. And you know, I get very, very, when it comes to peace, it's not just me, it's many people in the team that I work with. You know, I have pastors, the mayor's office, the county board, senators, you know, Dr. Weber, all these people, Miss Nancy, and I give to Miss Nancy also. She has came and really been a part of our life. You know, I could never dream that a little Black girl like me would ever be in the position that I'm in, or my people, or the kids in the community. But a lot of this has to do with my family, has to do with Mr. Mike, my kids, my church family. But most of all, it has to do with all of you believing in me and these children. Everything that I bring to the table, I listen to the young people. And I found out when you listen to them, they begin to help you. And I want to say, peace to me starts within me. It starts within you. And violence has been going on for so many years. Violence just didn't start today. It's been going on since the Bible time. But what I say is, what are we going to do? What are we going to do about it? We will never stop it. But what we can do is we can mold, do some remolding. And I really want to see the youth, the different cultures come together. Not all are going to come together, but the few that we do have, we can change this world. We can change it. We can remold things. It doesn't take a lot of us. It only takes a little of us. And you know, like I said, one of my number one people that I look up to, first of all, is God, my mother, and my spiritual godmothers, and my late pastor, Bishop McKinney. And also Miss Nancy and Miss Sue, Mr. Rollins, bless his soul, Brian. That was the team. And the young people and Miss Ann Anderson, which has been beside my side from the beginning. And my number one cheerleader is Mr. Mike. Without Mr. Mike, I can't do what I do. And that's about it, you know. And my question is, what does peace mean to you? And how can we really talk to our political offices to let them know how important peace really is, you know, to help them change their minds and to let them know to have peace down here, they have to have peace up in the White House, in the Senate, and in the Congress. Because peace starts at the top and come down. And that's about it right now. Did I do well in my 15 minutes?
That was so beautiful. I wanted to say, I noticed your birth date, January 7th, 1964. And I can't help but feel when I'm hearing you speak of how you were part of the birthing of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 that became law July 2nd. Family history is such a beautiful demonstration in your story of how much work we still have to do to have peace in the world. Since 1964, we have been moving and changing the needle to be more welcoming.
Well, what is peace to you?
Yeah.
And how do we bring peace to our neighborhood, to our community? First, it starts within us. We talk about mental health. Mental health is violence. It is not peace. And then we bring so many things as when things don't go right, mental health. But if you have the peace within your heart, or if we begin to really help one another and not only depend on the professionals, just because you have a degree doesn't mean that you know everything. And what is peace to you? And how are we as today, from this day forward, it doesn't take a lot of people. It just takes who's here right now. How are we going to come together and say, it's not going to stop, but we're going to work for it. As the song said, I'm going to stand up. And that's what I want us to do. And we have to start making people accountable. And Miss Nancy will tell you, I will not stop having the children write Senate and the president and the vice president. They will listen. And I believe that the young people are going to help us make a difference, because I was a part of those young people. My mother didn't have no education at all. And she was a daughter of a slave owner, but look at me now, you know. And again, I have to give credit where credit is due. I love the team that I've been able to work with. And now we have a larger team, but it's all about the children. And that's where I want our mind to stay focused. It's about the children. I want us to think about the children.
I know you've learned as much from the children as they have from you. What are some of the messages they've conveyed to you, or some of the things, some of the ways they've gone out into the community, and some of the many things they've done?
Well, I don't know if Mrs. Anderson is here on the podcast. We have been going to the Dr. Martin Luther King breakfasts over the past years. The International Day of Peace, we have brought many different nationalities, cultures, arts together, and came together that one day and did peaceful things through our arts. We here in San Diego, we even have a 9/11 Peace Rally Day. And that happened when Mr. I think Bob I forgot his last name, when he was there in Washington. He flew all the way here to work with the youth on that day was violence. But on that particular day, we had a moment from 9/11 to a moment of peace, to where the mayor even gave us a 9/11 Peace Rally Day. And I would like to see that happen throughout the United States. Yes, it's a 9/11 day, but we're going to turn that 9/11 day into a peaceful day, because yes, it was violence, but now we want it to be peace. Again, a lot of the other things that our young people have done is that we have worked with our nursing homes. We found out that in our nursing homes, there's so many soldiers. We're working with the Veterans for Peace. We've talked to them, and they have changed our minds a little bit. We've worked with the nursing homes. It's just so much. It's just now Sierra. One of my granddaughter has a Sierra Cloud Peace Day. It's just, I don't even know where to begin. I'm just so grateful. That's all I can say. But the children, we have to listen to the children. They want hatred to stop in the schools. They have right now, they have a lot of teachers are being violent to these children. Mm-hmm. They're being nasty. They're grading them wrong. And I'm just telling you what they told me. I'm just going to come straight out of the heart. They don't like them. They're rude to them. And our children are being violent also, because they're not only being not treated right on the street, but can you imagine going to school and having your teacher tell you you're not going to be nothing, or say things to you, and they just don't want to act right? And so the kids have said the teachers are mean. They call them out their names. They talk about the background and their nationality. I hear all kinds of stories. And a lot of nights and days, I just cry and say, what can we do? And that's what I'm asking everybody here. What can we do? I know what we can do. We can start making the district, the governors, the administration more accountable. Is that it, Miss Nancy? Did I kind of?
Oh, there's so much. I just wanted to, one time Cynthia went, one time we went to the California Democratic Party convention, well, a few times, and we had a booth where we were talking about Department of Peace building, but we had a section for the kids so they could draw pictures about what peace meant to them. And we also did a thing called acts of kindness. So they all drew different acts of kindness, and we put it up on a poster board, and they would go out and talk to the different politicians that were there about this. Sierra gave a press conference, or talked to the press about this. So they, and then after that, they went outside, and there was some woman who needed help going across the street. So they were taking this all very seriously, and just being kind to each other and really being engaging. So those are there are just so many memories, but and just also Cynthia's brought the community I mean, she has a woman from the school board who's always, Dr. Whitehurst Payne, who's always very supportive, and just different members from the community, the police, you involve the police. And so I just admire that it's been a real community effort and that the kids have sort of have led it. And they're the MCs at many of these things, so.
Wow, I should look somewhere else. I've actually, not me myself personally, but the team, we've actually got honor from the Senate for peace building, the Congress, Dr. Weber, Kayla Weber, and Dr. Shirley Weber, which is the Secretary of State right now, on peace building. I don't know how those got there, but many people have been watching what we've been doing here in the community. So I've been called places and just said, kind of like, be here. And when I looked up, I was getting proclamations and resolutions. But again, that's not all me. That's the team, the kids. Without them and me making my granddaughter do a lot of things when she was young, because I did make her do things. I said, you're gonna do it. And that's what we need to start telling our kids too. Don't ask them, tell them you're gonna do it because it's the right thing to do. So I've been honored by President Barack Obama for a service. I learned at an early age, it is better to give than receive. So all those awards are a part of the team. And when I say team, I, again, one of my number one cheerleaders here in San Diego was my great bishop, Bishop McKinney, and Queen Mother Catherine Harmon, and Mother Maxine Clark, and all of the elders and I'm gonna just be for real. My faith in God has got me where I need to do, or where I need to be. I'm not gonna even say I'm ashamed of it. I'm gonna say that I'm proud because I listen to you and I listen to the kids. And then this is what happened. So that's it.
Well, you are a very humble person. And there's no doubt about it. Because when I first asked Cynthia to speak here, she did not mention any of this. It wasn't until, I don't know, days later, she said, oh, I have some awards. And I saw this long list. So I have a question, and then I hope that other people will jump in because I don't want to take up too much of your time. Going back to when you were a child, and I think you know what I'm talking about. And you had a dream. Can you tell us that dream?
My very first dream was to get in contact with Nikes and to make sure that 100 kids got a piece of the pie. They got 100 new tennis shoes. And I want to be able to look at their feet and just go to the schools, give them shoes, and have no media, no nothing, just to give. That was my very first dream that I ever had, is to give shoes and to get in contact with Nikes and to let them give it and not put it all over the news or not talk about it, to just give from your heart. But I never would have dreamed that a little girl like me would be where I am today. but I'm going to hold on and stand on to my dreams. No matter what. I do believe we're going to have a Department of Peace Building, and it's going to be from the ground up. I believe that we need to start in communities and neighborhoods, and it doesn't need to run out of Washington. It needs to be ran from people like us. So that's about it.
Thank you. Thank you for your selflessness. Thank you for your dedication. Thank you for your hard work. And thank you for your dreams.
Cynthia, I was wondering about the Youth Promise Act, this beautiful mechanism for supporting at-risk youth and keeping them out of the prison system. Could you share a story of someone that you've worked with as part of the Youth for Promise Act?
Well, here in San Diego, from when we first started, it's not really, how can I say it? From when I first started with Miss Sue, they're not really pushing the Youth Promise Act anymore. Now it's like, we have Black Lives Matter, we have we have Spanish Lives Matter. And I think that if something is set up, that we should all come and be a part of what we are, where we already are going. So it's not really, how can I say it? It's not really mentioned like it was when it was first introduced. But I believe that myself and, as I said, Miss Ann Anderson and her 5 kids, I believe that we're still pushing it, in the schools and just through the neighborhood. But we need to come together with the youth organizations, and everybody needs to come up under the same umbrella. I have mentored so many. I remember Mother Clark, and she's like here. She called me the alley mom, and I'm like, "Why did you call me the alley mom?" She said, "Because you used to go to the alley with Freezy's paint and take down the paint, and we would paint the graffiti signs off the alley." Forgot about I even did that at the age of 29. A lot of things that, most of the things that I do, I do them. I pray about it. And if God say do it, it's done. I don't write it down. I call Miss Nancy, I call Miss Sue, and we talk about it, and we come together, or Miss Ann, which is a pastor, and it just happens. And now I'm working with the San Diego Park and Rec Center, and those kids are talking about peace in the arts and drawing. So I'm learning another part of peace is through drawing and writing down a different way. So I have mentored so many, I can't even count, but I've been mentored, and I'm just willing to pass on. But my biggest mentor in the whole wide world was my mother and my grandmother. Because of them, that's who I am today.
Could you give us one piece of advice that they shared with you?
Trust God.
Mm.
And my mother was a praying woman. And like I said, my mother was the only child, and she was a daughter of my grandmother, and they were back in slavery. My grandmother lived to over 100 and something. My mother lived to 98. So I have rode the Greyhound bus. I have seen places where people were hung in Arkansas, but I never let that turn me into hatred or being prejudiced. My mother, she told me to love everyone. Love. Love is the key that unlocks the door.
So who is here in this call today that came for you, besides Nancy and Charlie and the Peace Alliance and Department of Peace Building people? Did she come for you?
Medina,
Medina?
And
And
I think Anne's there.
Anne's here.
And Laura. And I think that's my god baby over there on the end. They're on silent.
That's very
For
nice.
once, right?
I'm here, Miss Cynthia. This is Rochelle.
And Miss Rochelle, she's with the Park and Rec Center. So Miss Rochelle, can you tell them a little bit about the kids and us, what we have done to bring peace to the city and throughout the military?
I would love to. It's an honor to be here to watch this woman that I met a little over a year ago. And how I met her, I was what you call ear hustling. That's what she always reminds me. She was at a table with one of the local schools, and she was talking to the principal. And she was talking to the children with such passion and such concern. I couldn't help but listen in. And I knew right then and there that we had to come together to try to do something different in the community. And since then, we have. One of the things that we work together with the kids is we tell them to, I like to say, go back on positive energy. And that means to me, when they're having a bad day, when they're having a moment and it's negative energy, I tell them, go back, just stop right where you are and go back to the positive energy. And when they go back to the positive energy, then they go back to peace within themselves. And then that peace within themselves, everyone can see it because they're not doing that thing that people think as negative energy. But we've been on field trips, we've done letters, we've done crafts, we've just done a lot of things for the kids. We've made them believe within themselves that they are somebody, but I'll let somebody else speak. But like I said, it's an honor to just take 2 seconds to speak about this woman that has changed my life completely, to help me know that I'm not by myself working with the Park and Rec kids. And it's an honor, Cynthia, and I'll let someone else speak. Thank you.
Thank you.
When you were speaking about your mentors, Cynthia, your mom and your grandmother, it just reminded me that we're almost at Mother's Day, and how active you and a lot of people on this call have been in Mother's Day, and the idea that it was Julia Ward Howe who called for a day of peace, and that we've all used that as a tool, going to our members of Congress and saying peace wants a piece of the pie, the federal budget pie.
Greetings to all of you guys. My name is Medina. If I will be given this opportunity to talk about Miss Cynthia, I am one of her mentor. Child, now I'm adult, but I just wanted to take a moment to just say something about Miss Cynthia and the impact, the positive impact that she, I want to cry because I cannot believe that I'm talking about somebody who really, saved me from the most terrible and bad environment. She was our safe haven on 50th Street, San Diego. It was really bad, where there is a lot of drive-by shooting from other gangs, and I was in an apartment, low-income apartment with my family, and we didn't know what to do. It was my first time coming to America, and we didn't know who is African American because we never seen African American person. And Miss Cynthia was like the first person that, welcomed us. And I didn't even speak any English or know how to write. After school, we didn't know where to go other than Clino Park. where it's so bad with drugs, gang, and all of that. But Miss Cynthia taught us a lot. And I am a mother of 4 right now and trying to open my own nonprofit organization, trying to be like Miss Cynthia. Because what she did for us is great. And right now, kids are dying with drugs, fentanyl, gangs, gun in Minneapolis, where I moved to right now. And I just want to be like Miss Cynthia. Miss Cynthia, you are a very great person. You made me finish high school because you made me believe that I can change somebody's life by putting those best buddies, that we go to Horseman Middle School after school and just be, a mentor to best buddies. And then you also follow us, make sure that we apply for college, and then put us in after school programs and taking us to field trips. And you are our mother. Like, we come to you and we say, Miss Cynthia, we don't know how to apply for FAFSA. I remember that day you took us to the bungalow and then you taught us how to do it. Without you, I was the first person in my family to graduate, and you are the reason. You queen, you are the reason who I am right now. And that's why I just got out of my Arabic class to just come to your meeting, Miss Cynthia, because you deserve it. You made me who I am today. And I'm a social worker just because of you. And I'm not going to stop going to school, even though my English is very terrible, because you are there still in my life, mentoring me until right now. A mother of 4. And you know what you did in my life. And I cannot thank you enough, Miss Cynthia. You never. You are my mother. And thank you so much again and again. Happy Mother's Day, beautiful queen. I'm sorry for crying because you deserve this day. And Miss Cynthia, thank you for making me a better person. Many of our friends who didn't follow you, that we were in the same class, they experienced a very tough life. Some of them were those who got, sex trafficked on that time. You remember the time? And many of them end up in a gang who didn't follow you because you are different. You are not, Somali. But then we believe in you. We were a bunch of Ethiopian kids. We taught you how to dance. We taught you how, and you are okay with it, us dressing you up, and I still see your smile. We told you that you look like Ethiopian and you are our mother. And you said, okay, you did not deny us to call you mom. Thank you, Miss Cynthia. I love you.
I love you too.
I just can't help but feel that Mother Earth is calling us all home, to come together and honor our mothers. And when we think about the unpaid labor that we as mothers contribute to what would be 10.9 trillion to the world economy if it was actually properly calculated. And there's so many beautiful stories, Cynthia, that I imagine you have, the lives of women like Medina and men that you have impacted. And how can we come together on Mother's Day and celebrate these beautiful stories of Sue?
I just wanted to thank you, Cynthia, for all of your work in San Diego and throughout the entire country. You inspire me, and you have been such a good mentor to so many of the youth, especially our dear little Sierra, who's now this beautiful young woman. And what she's doing is directly attributed to your example. And the whole Department of Peace and Kids for Peace movement is grown into so many wonderful events and connections because of the work that you and Sierra and Nancy too have done in San Diego. God bless you, my dear Cindy, and I do love you.
I love you too, Miss Sue.
So Pastor, this is one of the pastors also that Cynthia has worked with. We're kind of doing a tribute to Cynthia right now. So Pastor Jeff is here too. So we just want to say thank you to Cynthia Gilliam. You know, these are my kids have been with Kids for Peace since they were, how old were you, Maddie? Like 5, and now she's 13. So it's been a while. And so these are the kids that have been going into the nursing homes and doing the parades and marching with the flag with the Veterans of Peace. And then there's Pastor Jeff, who has always been a great supporter of the youth. And so, you know, he definitely supports Cynthia. So we just want to say thank you, Cynthia. Say thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and just keep doing what you're doing. You know, one of the things that I know we'd like to see, Melissa, raise your hand, Melissa. Melissa is big on mental health, and you know, I feel like there was no peace coming out of the pandemic. People lost their peace in the pandemic, and a lot of these kids were on distance learning. They didn't have, you know, the support that they needed, and so when we finally did come out, we see that their mental health, their psyche was really affected. And one of the things I'd like to see when we're talking about peace is that with that component of peace, I'd like to see the same way that we're pushing sex education. I wish we would be pushing mental health, a mental health education piece in there as well, because peace actually starts within us, as we heard Ms. Cynthia say today. And so if your mental state, if you're not at peace in your mind, then there's not peace on the outside as well. And so hopefully we'll see that come down from Congress. Hopefully we can get a piece of that. When we're talking about peace wants a piece of the pie, you know, we'd like to have some type of mental health for our kids, you know, some kind of component like that, talking about, you know, mental health awareness and things like that in the schools before they, you know, get out of school and then don't know what to do. But, you know, we're supposed to be giving them tools for math, tools for reading, writing, and arithmetic, but we need to give them tools, you know, to think and tools to manage their feelings and emotions and things like that. So that part, the mental health awareness, I believe is going to contribute to peace in the neighborhoods and, you know, peace in the Southeast and all these other places that we're fighting for peace. So thank you again, Cynthia. That's kind of our take today. God bless you. Pastor Jeff, you have anything to say to Cynthia about her work with the youth? Or
I'd like to say something before you all leave.
Sure.
I'm Ojibwe from Bad River, Wisconsin. Inawindawag is our language phrase for we're all related.
Okay.
We should really try to remember that and understand no matter what colors, hair, eyes, skin somebody else has, we truly are all related, all of the earth, all of creation. Thanks a lot.
Sure. And as you can see, these guys are mixed, all different. You know, their parents are mixed. So hey, but they're my blood relatives too. So I agree with that. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. Pastor Jeff, you have something to say?
I just want to say that Christ said, "My peace I leave with you."
Yes.
It's what we do with that peace is what is at hand. And thank God for people like Sister Cynthia that is taking full charge of the peace that God has left into our hands. We are his hands. We are his eyes. We are his feet. Keep up the good work, Sister Cynthia. You're doing a great job. God bless you.
Say peace, y'all. Peace.
What I want to leave here today is, what does peace mean to me? How will I bring peace into my house, my neighborhood, and my country? That's what I leave with you today. How are we going to work together to make this happen?